dealer stock.
Well, it's not Easter without some Peeps. Check out this art show featuring the Marshmallow Peeps. Some people like these. Some people don't like these, love them or hate them. Yep. This weekend, people in Maryland are getting a chance to see hundreds of marshmallow masterpieces. You can see there's a monkey, there's Smokey the Bear, Genie from Aladdin, Dumbo, Barbie's wearing a beautiful wedding dress. These creations are from the minds of local artists, families, businesses, and community groups. Visitors get to vote on which creation they like best, and the group with the most votes wins a prize from Peeps and Company.
Well, there you go. That looks like a reward in itself for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Peep this. The forecast is absolutely beautiful. Once we get through this chilly start in the mid-50s, we'll be up near 72 by noon. 79 is going to be your daytime high. Just a stunning day to be outside, mainly because low humidity and a light west to northwest wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Rain returns by Friday as we soar back to the mid to upper 80s. So enjoy the dry spell that we will have. Rain returns by the end of the week.
All right. Thank you, Samara. Still to come in the morning news, we take a look at all your headlines. Plus, on the weekly, this morning, we're focusing on a bill that would provide coverage for Florida firefighters who have cancer. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. We'll be right back in just 3 minutes.
This is home. Live, this is News 6.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us on your Easter Sunday. Time now is 8 o'clock. I'm Amanda Castro. Here's a look at what we're following this morning. We're working to learn more about a 14-year-old boy killed in a shooting. Orange County deputies tell us he was shot near the intersection of JR Street and Starbright Drive. That's just about a mile from the mall at Millennia. Deputies say when they found the teen, they took him to the hospital where he later died. Investigators have not released any information about possible suspects. A SpaceX capsule suffered some sort of failure during a test yesterday. Our news partners over at Florida Today captured that large plume of smoke that went into the air over the Cape. You can see it there. Officials are now calling the failure part of a, quote, anomaly. SpaceX and its Crew Dragon capsule were supposed to carry its first astronauts into space this summer or fall, but with yesterday's failure, many are wondering if that will still happen. It's now time for the Weekly with News 6 morning anchor Justin Warmoth.
This is the Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Good morning, I'm Justin Warmoth. For the last 4 years, firefighters in Florida have been urging lawmakers to pass a bill that would grant them cancer coverage, essentially establishing the disease as an occupational hazard. Despite overwhelming bipartisan support this year, the bill once again looked all but dead. That's because House Speaker Jose Oliva blocked it, claiming the decision was best dealt with at the local level. But late this week, in a stunning reversal, Oliva allowed the bill to move forward. Now, before we show you highlights from Thursday's emotional hearing in Tallahassee, I want to take you back to an interview I did with 2 Central Florida firefighters last week when this bill was still being blocked. Jay, let's start with you. Tell us about your time serving the folks of Brevard County and when you learned you had cancer for the first time.
Yes, Justin, thank you for having me here. I was a firefighter with Brevard County for 33 years. I retired in 2012. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017. I had a small fleck on my tongue that my doctor noticed. He took that off, and then he put a scope down my throat and noticed I had growth on my vocal cord. So in September of 2017, I had one vocal cord removed. He tried to save the other one so I would be able to speak normally. But in January, the cancer came back. So in January of 2018, I had my throat, basically everything in my throat taken out. I will never speak again like unless I speak like this. I don't have a sense of smell. Right now I am cancer-free. So let's hope it continues to be that way.
Jazz, I know that you have a similar story as far as you were diagnosed with cancer recently, but you are also cancer-free. Tell us about that.
Yeah, in 2006, I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. I went through a year of chemotherapy and interferon therapy. I withered away down to about 100 pounds. I went into cardiac arrest, which is dead, twice during my treatments. I had nurses basically have to sit at the end of my bed and say, you need to get out of bed. If you don't get out of bed, you will die. Get out of bed. And we would celebrate the small victories, like when I got out of the bed. And so And then in 2013, I got diagnosed with cervical cancer. And my doctor, who'd been my doctor since I was 16, she was going through my chart. She's like, where did this come from? You've never had HPV before. You've never had any of those precursors that would give you cervical cancer.
Right.
And I go, my job.
And that's why you guys are here today as well, to talk about your fight for coverage and talk about what this bill has in it, and ultimately your fight in its fourth year to get something passed with the Florida legislature.
So currently the bill as it stands, we would get some type of payout, a $25,000 payout that will help us with the bills, the costs. And also it would alleviate the costs for us, the out-of-pocket costs, because our departments would pay those co-pays from our insurance. One of the big things about this bill, though, is if I die,
It's okay.
if I die of cancer, or another firefighter dies of cancer, nothing is left for families. Where our families basically get given a badge and a helmet and said, "Thank you for your years of service." And this bill protects our families. It gives us, it protects our jobs so we can't get fired, so we don't lose retirement benefits. It protects our families and gives them some benefits as well, survival benefits.
Right.
So.
Lack of action seems to be the common theme over the last 4 years. This year, the momentum, it seemed, was there. You've been in Tallahassee for the session. Tell us about what it's been like up there and what you guys have been doing to get the word out around lawmakers.
I've been to Tallahassee a couple times this session. The first week we brought up, Jay was with me as well, we brought up 500 sets of boots. We put them through the courtyard, we put them on the steps. It had names and pictures of our firefighters who have passed away of cancer. And this is just a small portion of how many firefighters who have had cancer and passed away. And to show them that this isn't a statistic, this is our brothers, our sisters, our co-workers, our second family that we live with every third day. And this isn't a number to us. And we gained a lot of momentum. We got a lot of legislators to sign on to the bill.
Right.
Currently, House Bill 857 has 82 sponsors to it. Out of the 742 bills the general bills that went through the House, our bill had the most sponsors on it. And it's still not being heard.
It's just not going to go to a vote.
Correct, it's not going to go to a
And
vote.
there is a reason for that.
Yeah.
And that is,
There's a couple different reasons.
Okay.
One of the reasons is its sole reason it's not getting put on the vote for agenda is the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is not putting it on the agenda. Couple of the other reasons why. Basically, if it does go into vote, we'll pass it.
Right.
We've got the majority of the votes. We've got majority of the House that support this bill, and we have the numbers to pass the bill through committee. Another reason, too, I found out this last time I was in Tallahassee was if that bill gets heard in committee, whether it's voted favorably or not, even though it will be voted favorably if it does, the Senate can pull it, conference it, and take it to the floor without it having to go through those committees. And the Speaker knows that.
Right.
So he's not putting it on the agenda.
if this bill was in place and you were diagnosed, how would this have helped you? Obviously, monetarily it would have, but in other ways as well.
Well, it gives you a sense of a peace of mind. First off, because I know when I first got diagnosed, I was scared that I was going to lose my job and my only health insurance. I was scared, obviously, I was going to die, but my job was the first thing that came to my mind over my family, because it was like that was my main source of income. I mean, my parents had to cash out their retirement to pay for my treatments because it wasn't covered. I mean, $600 an injection because it wasn't part of my coverage.
And thank goodness that you were able to beat it. But when you think about others who, as Jay touched on, and you touched on, they die of cancer and then their loved ones are left with
Nothing.
nothing. That's hard to believe. It really is. And when we talk about the lawmakers who have signed on to this bill, we're talking a bipartisan support here, right?
Correct. We currently have 82 sponsors and co-sponsors onto the bill. We've got 44 Democrats and 38 Republicans that have signed on.
And so when you think about the ultimate reason why something like this can't be passed and why it's being blocked, we know what the speaker said, but what do you think the root of the issue is?
Well, I know the speaker plays that crucial role on getting heard on the agenda, and I know there's a lot of politics behind why it's not being
And what do you have to say about politics playing a role in people's lives? And I mean, that it's hard to fathom, right?
It's very hard to find. It's very disheartening. The couple times that I've been up in Tallahassee and heard some of the politics behind it, and it was like, this is what's holding up the bill, really? And it's very disheartening.
And again, the Speaker of the House, Jose Oliva, changed course late last week, allowing this bill to move forward. Coming up, why he changed his mind and the emotional moments in Tallahassee as lawmakers put it to a vote. Keep it here.
Duncan.
This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Welcome back. This morning, we're focusing on a bill that would grant Florida firefighters cancer coverage. A CDC study shows that first responders are at a 15% greater risk of developing the disease than the average person, and more than 40 states have already passed similar legislation. Now, despite the bill having bipartisan support, it's stalled in the House, blocked by House Speaker Jose Oliva, who said counties and cities should deal with providing the coverage. But late this week, to the surprise of many, Oliva changed his mind. He issued a statement saying in part, quote, "Unfortunately, the debate became about whether we support our firefighters. Of course we do. And it became about whether it was political. Of course it wasn't. Still, the environment has become too toxic to debate the true original disagreement. As such, we will move this legislation forward," end quote. That cleared the way for the bill to be heard in Tallahassee, where lawmakers listened to testimony, asked questions, and ultimately put it to a vote.
Why? Is it building materials? Is there something going on that's causing more cancer now than had been prior to this time period?
You recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish I could answer that. I can only speculate, and that's not a Florida problem. President Trump signed a bill into law federally to try to figure out that, to create a firefighter cancer registry. Who's getting cancer? What kind of cancers are they? There's a tumor bank being started through the University of Miami and other researchers to try to find out if these tumors are unique. Anecdotally, as a firefighter, I've been doing this about 20 years. When I talk to my brothers and sisters behind me, something we talk about is how fires used to smell different. A dumpster fire smelled different than a house fire. It smelled different than a car fire. It smelled different than a brush fire. And now a house smells the same as a dumpster fire. A car fire smells the same as a dumpster. They're all burning plastic. They're all burning chemicals. And I don't want to alarm anybody. I think much like lightweight construction, these things are safe. And they're safe until they catch on fire. And the concepts in our protective clothing that protect us, they protect us from heat, they protect us from inhaling toxins, but they're not protecting it from getting on our skin. And Rep. Payne, I see you nodding. You and I have discussed this extensively. I very much appreciate your attention to that. We really want gear that protects us. We really want to warn firefighters to take care of themselves. I think this is a multi-pronged approach. I think we have to do what's right. I think our employers have to do what's right. I think the gear manufacturers have to do what's right. So I think when somebody can answer that question, you're going to see a dramatic drop in this horrible firefighter cancer problem.
There's a guy named Dwayne McKeever. Dwayne's not here today. He was here yesterday. But Dwayne's my hero. About 2 years ago, I had no idea what this issue was. I'll be honest with you. I was new on the job. And I'm in South Manatee eating chili at a fire station. Think it's cool. I'm there with a bunch of other firemen. And I have no idea. I'm just there to, almost like a photo op opportunity. I'm new on the job, and I get really excited about wearing the badge. And I'm sitting there talking, and next thing I know, Dwayne starts telling me about fighting cancer. This guy got 2 kids. age 14 and 12, little boy, little girl. And he's fought his third round of cancer, and it was December 15th. I was there in November. It was December 15th. And he's going to go into Moffitt to go get colon cancer treatment. He had 12 inches of his colon removed. And he went back the other day, and things are good, but they got a couple spots still that they're monitoring, but they're not growing, and they're too small to do surgery on. So here this guy is going to go to work and show up every single day knowing the stuff's inside of him, okay? But he's got such a just can-do attitude. He's got such a, the glass is always half full. And, last year y'all showed such amazing leadership of passing PTSD. And so in Tampa last year, Megan Villa, who I thought was the face of PTSD with our first responders, Dwayne and Megan got to meet each other for the first time. And afterwards, Dwayne calls me and he says, I've never wanted to talk about my illness until I met Megan. I've never shared that story with anybody. And I called Megan earlier today and I said, you know what? Today is a good day in the Florida legislature. Today we are putting forward a bill to give cancer benefits to our firefighters. And I just want to let you know that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for folks like Dwayne, folks like Heather, all these men and women that come in and advocate. But more importantly, it doesn't happen without a single one of you.
I want to first thank all of the firefighters in this room. I want to thank all the firefighters across this great state for putting your lives on the line each and every day. I also did not know that this was a significant problem. Conditions are changing. We heard testimony today. The smell of the smoke is changing. We have a problem. And we here in the legislature, I'm a freshman. I've been extremely honored of the policy that has been moving in this institution. We lead here in the state of Florida. We're the third largest state in this country. The least we can do is to lead on this issue. And so I have worked really hard these last several months as a new member. I try to take the emotion out of deciding what is good public policy. You cannot take the emotion out of this. These are real stories. These are real people. These are people that you all put your lives on the line for all of us. And this is good public policy. This is the right thing to do. When it comes to the costs and it comes to making those decisions at the local level, I'm a small business owner. Every once in a while, you just have to figure it out. I have to take care of my employees, okay? We have to take care of our first responders and our firefighters. So my message to the local governments, just figure it out. I guarantee you'll be able to figure it out. I'm very up on this bill. Thank you again for all you do. God bless you.
When they continue to protect us, whether we deserve it or not, what are we going to do to protect them? But we also must think about the families and the children of those firemen and women who are diagnosed with cancer and look to these individuals to take care of them for the rest of their lives. Look to them so that they can go to school. Look to them so that mortgages can be paid. They, too, are thrown in a quandary with budgeting. So I think we have a responsibility and an obligation to the people who make us safe.
My employees, I treat them like family. Our employees are family. And I believe that you are gauged as an employer, as a human being, by how we treat others, especially our employees, and if we treat them like family. So I think doing this is not only the right thing to do, it's the human thing to do, and it's what we should be doing for our employees because our firefighters are our family.
24 yeas, 0 nays.
The bill passes unanimously. We'll be reporting it favorably.
Now, the bill now heads to the House floor next week, where it's expected to pass overwhelmingly. And with just 3 weeks left in the legislative session, it should move swiftly to the governor's desk. We will keep you posted. I'm Justin Mormith. Have a great Sunday. Happy Easter.
It's your free offer today.
Good morning. We're back at 8:24, and before we leave you, we want to get one final look at your forecast with Samara.
It's going to be a fabulous day to be out and about. I know a large amount of people are going to be celebrating Easter at the beach today. 76 degrees, but keep in mind, please swim safe and near a lifeguard. Volusia County beaches last week over a 5 days over a period of time. So rescued 139 people from the strong rip current. So please swim safe in front of a staffed lifeguard tower. Here we go, 79 degrees today, lots of sunshine, low humidity, not as breezy as it was yesterday. And then as we head into the upcoming work week, we are dry through midweek. Come Thursday night, that's where things start to change as the next cold front gets closer to central Florida. It'll bring some scattered showers and thunderstorms for the end of the week and the start of the weekend, but no major temperature dip behind that. And each night this week will get a little bit warmer overnight too.
All right, thank you, Samara. And thank you all for joining us this morning on News 6. Jill Osteen is next. Remember, we always break news on ClickOrlando.com. Have a wonderful Easter Sunday, everyone.